We've seen the last week or two the Republicans just throwing things to the wall, hoping something will stick. They brought down the energy efficiency bill as a result of that, rescinding informally an agreement that I was convinced we had. And here's why this is happening. One need only look at why we haven't heard these endless speeches in the House or the Senate on Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. That has dissipated. It's been several weeks, Mr. President, it's hard to believe, but several weeks before we've had a vote in the House on doing away with Obamacare, repealing it. And why is that? There's no better illustration of why that's happening than something called the plumb line in the Washington Post today. It's short, but I'd like to read this. It's the headline is "Going Quiet on Healthcare." As Benghazi fever rises among Republicans, and this is an editorial comment, that's another thing they threw at the wall to see if it would stick. The Hill reported yesterday that the House GOP has gone quiet on Obamacare. There are no scheduled votes or hearings on the Affordable Care Act. On the Affordable Care Act. When contacted by the Hill newspaper, most GOP campaign committees wouldn't say whether they would launch any new attacks on the law. As the Hill put it, quote, "The lack of action highlights the GOP's struggle to adjust its message now that enrollment in the exchanges beat projections and the uninsured rate is going down," close quote. You know, they've tried a number of things since Obamacare is no longer very high on the radar screen. A couple of weeks ago, they said they were going to change direction and go after me. One of my friends, a senator, Democratic senator, said, "I wish that they would do that in my state. Nobody knows who you are." Point is, Mr. President, they're getting desperate for something to change their tune. Benghazi is one, and there'll be other things come on in the next few weeks. I carry on reading this article. At the same time, it's noted that GOP operatives overseeing Senate races remain conscious of the need to keep up a drumbeat going against the law. The question now, if Republican officials really are backing off on Obamacare, will the base go along? A new CNN poll illustrates the situation nicely. It finds that far more Americans want to keep Obamacare than repeal it. At the same time, only a majority of Republicans want repeal, and only a majority of Republicans think the law is already a failure. The poll finds that 49% of Americans want to keep the law with some changes, while another 12% want to keep it as is, a total of 61%. Meanwhile, only 18% want to repeal and replace the law, and another 20% want to repeal it. Full stop, a total of 38%. That's 61% for keeping the law, 38% for repealing it. Among independents, that's 55% to 44% in favor of Obamacare. How is it possible that Americans can disapprove of Obamacare but support keeping it? Part of the answer lies in another question CNN asked. It finds that a total of 61% say that it's a success or it's too soon to tell whether it's a success. By contrast, 39% say it's already a failure. Among independents, that's 58 to 42. All this is a reminder that at this point, attacks on the law, such as they are all about keeping the base lathered up in advance of the midterm elections. But there are 6 months to go, and already even some Republicans officials are realizing that the anti-Obama energy is draining away. Remember, Mr. President, 61 to 38.